Welcome back to another recap. Today we're diving into Bring Her Back, a dark horror about a brother and sister caught in a deadly ritual orchestrated by their foster mother. The movie opens with pure unease. A woman stands inside a white circle while someone films her in grainy footage, muttering in Russian. The camera zooms in on a girl with a strange mark under her right eye. Cut to present day. Piper, a visually impaired middle schooler, waits at the bus stop, awkwardly trying to win over the popular girls. They are laughing at her. Her older brother, Andy, shows up to pick her up. He tells her they liked her. They didn't, but he can't stand to let her feel the sting. At home, things go from socially brutal to emotionally catastrophic. Andy's fixing a broken mirror when Piper runs in, panicked. Their dad has locked himself in the bathroom with the water running, and he's not answering. They pound on the door. No reply. Andy finally gets in and finds their father dead on the floor. Piper stands behind him, unaware of what she can't see. Andy is frozen in shock, trying to find the words. He can't. Piper puts it together anyway and breaks down. Soon the police and paramedics arrive. Piper answers their questions. The body is taken away. Then they are in the social worker's office. Wendy, the caseworker, breaks the news. Piper's getting a great foster mom named Laura, while Andy's being shipped off to a supervised unit. Translation: separation incoming. Piper and Andy are not having it. Andy tries to reason with Wendy, says he can take care of his sister, then asks if Laura can take him too. He is going to apply for guardianship when he turns 18 in just 3 months. But Wendy tells him that Laura doesn't do well with troubled kids, which is code for Andy's got a record. Piper catches on and pulls their emergency protocol. Code word: grapefruit. That means Andy has to tell her the truth, no sugarcoating. He fesses up. There was an incident when he was 8. Ancient history to him, but not forgotten by the system. When he tells him he will have to behave for the next 3 months and agrees to put them together to live with Laura. Back at their house for the final time, the mood is heavy. Andy finds Piper curled up under their dad's bed. She's devastated. Andy does what he always does, tries to patch the cracks. He tells her their dad is just catching a flight to heaven. It almost works. She manages a small smile. He suggests she takes their dad's pillow, a small piece of him to carry with her. Then it's time to leave. Andy drives them to Laura's house. At her driveway, he tells Piper they won't be here long. From inside of the house, loud music blasts. Laura yells for them to come in. She's a whirlwind, overly cheerful, borderline unhinged, showering Piper with attention. But Andy? She barely registers him. It's clear, in this new setup, Piper's the guest and Andy's the baggage. Inside Laura's house, Andy starts noticing that the place is blind-proofed. He points it out. Laura tells him her daughter Kathy is blind. Andy asks if she's around. Laura says no. Kathy drowned in the backyard pool a few years ago. Just then, Laura gets a call from Wendy and walks off to take it. Andy and Piper wander into the backyard. As he opens the door, the house cat makes a break for it. He chases it and finds a shirtless boy with a shaved head is standing in the empty pool, wrestling with the cat. Laura shows up just in time and calmly retrieves the cat from the boy. Then he turns around and stares at Piper and Andy. He has a mark under his right eye, the same mark from the tape at the beginning. Later, in the kitchen, Laura's measuring them. She tells them the boy's name is Oliver. He lost his family too, and apparently needs special care. He's selectively mute, and according to Laura, things got worse after Kathy's death. Andy hauls their stuff in from the car and notices a white line painted on the ground in front of the house. Inside, Laura gives Piper the late daughter's room and sticks Andy in the basement. It doesn't take long for Andy to feel the imbalance. Laura's obsessively warm toward Piper, while Oliver just lurks, silent, watching. Everything about him is strange, and Laura only fuels the discomfort. Later that night, Laura comes downstairs to check on Andy. The conversation turns to his plan to apply for Piper's guardianship once he turns 18. He's texting with a friend. Laura suddenly wants to see his phone. He brushes her off. She pushes. She says he's being defensive. The tension spikes when she grabs his phone without warning. Andy snaps, yanks it back, clearly rattled. He doesn't like his things touched, and he really doesn't like his privacy invaded. But Laura's already seen it. He called Ollie a fucking weirdo. Later that night, Laura is watching the same VHS tape from the beginning, and we see a man draw a white circle on the floor. Andy wakes in the middle of the night and sees Laura leading Oliver out to the shed. The next day, storm clouds roll in, and Laura is outside painting the drain pool with white paint. Down in the basement, Andy wakes up and realizes he has wet the bed. He's confused and ashamed. He tries to clean off his sheets and pajamas and heads to the shower. But he can't go in. He stands there, locked in place, flashing back to the moment he found his father dead in the shower. Meanwhile, Laura locks Ollie in her bedroom, and the rest of them head to Piper and Andy's dad's funeral. At the coffin, Piper stands with Andy and quietly asks how their father looks. She drops the code word, grapefruit. No lies. Andy tells her he looks good, but the truth is, Andy can't even bring himself to look. He stares past the body, too broken to face it. Meanwhile, Laura casually snips a lock of hair from the corpse. Outside, she wastes no time calling Andy out, saying he didn't look at his father. And now, she wants him to go back inside and say a real goodbye, right in front of Piper. Piper turns on Andy, hurt that he lied to her. Back at the house, chaos brews. Ollie breaks the glass on the bedroom window and escapes. He heads straight for the shed, locked, and tries to force it open. When that fails, he makes his way to the chicken coop and just stares at them, starving. Meanwhile, Laura takes Andy back into the funeral home. What follows is quietly horrific. She demands that he kiss his father goodbye. Andy's shaking, barely keeping it together. He leans in and kisses his dad on the forehead, just trying to get it over with. But that's not enough for Laura. She tells him to kiss him on the mouth. Andy freezes. He can't do it, so she does it for him. On the drive back from the funeral, Laura switches gears. According to her, funerals aren't supposed to be sad. They're meant to be celebrations. So, naturally, the plan is to get hammered. Back at the house, they play a drinking game. It's messy, chaotic, and weirdly joyful. Eventually, Piper passes out, and it's just Laura and Andy, still buzzing, now sliding into deeper territory. She tells him they can really talk. Andy hesitates. So she suggests they don't look at each other, and he can ask her anything. He asks how did she cope with her daughter's death. She admits she didn't. She slept at Kathy's grave and stopped functioning entirely. She says she'd give anything to hear her daughter call her mom again. Then Andy opens up about his father. How the man loved Piper, but never cared for Andy. How that made him act out. Laura asks if this is why he hit Piper, out of jealousy. He confesses that when Piper and her mom entered their lives, it was like his father found the family he'd always wanted and left Andy out in the cold. So he started acting up. He was 8, and his father started beating the hell out of him. But their dad never laid a hand on Piper. Then Andy's out cold. Laura checks to make sure he's really asleep, then gets to work. She heads to the bathroom, pees in a cup, and quietly returns, only to pour it over the crotch of his pants. She lifts his phone, uses his face to unlock it, and scrolls straight to his gallery. She finds a photo of Oliver and deletes it. Then she hears the cat. Laura follows the noise outside and finds Ollie in the empty pool, clutching the cat again. She takes him to the bathtub and starts washing the blood off of him. As she scrubs him, she whispers to him. She knows he's hungry, but it's not time yet. Then the real questions start. Are you in there? Did I do it right? How can I believe you're in there if I can't see you? Ollie doesn't speak, but his eyes say enough. The faucet turns on by itself. Steam builds in the bathroom. The air thickens. Then Ollie starts making noises, deep, inhuman sounds. Laura stares at him through the fogged-up mirror. But what she sees staring back is not Ollie. It's a demon coiled inside his body. The mirror cracks, then shatters. The next morning, Andy wakes up and his pants are soaked. Again, he panics, thinking it's another accident. He scrambles to wash them quietly, hoping Laura won't notice. But of course, she's already waiting in the laundry room. She makes a performance out of it, passive concern laced with barbed judgment. And Piper is there to catch the humiliation. Laura, ever the orchestrator, leans into her subtle campaign, casting Andy as unstable. She quietly tells Piper She's worried about him, that he was aggressive last night. Then she takes Piper out, a girls' trip to the mall. She leaves Andy behind with Oliver. And a warning, don't let him out. Alone, Andy still can't bring himself to shower, so he uses the outdoor faucet. From the garden, he spots Oliver watching him from the window. Andy decides to let Oliver out. The kid looks starving. Andy cuts up a cantaloupe and offers it. Then Oliver picks up the knife Andy used and starts chewing it. Metal on teeth, lips tearing, blood pouring. He can't stop. The hunger is something else entirely. Andy freaks out, tries to drag him to the car. He hauls Oliver across the white line that encircles the property. And that's when all hell breaks loose. Oliver collapses, convulses, and screams. Something shifts and moves inside his stomach. Then, finally he speaks for the first time, begging for help. Laura screeches into the driveway like she's been tipped off by the devil himself. She sees Oliver convulsing and hauls him inside, slamming the door behind her. Andy's left in the dirt, crying, shaking, not even sure what just happened. Piper tries to calm him, but she's completely in the dark, both literally and figuratively. Inside Laura's bedroom, Ollie's breath is ragged and rapid. Laura rewinds the VHS tape to a precise moment. She's not watching for comfort. She's watching for instructions. Suddenly, Ollie snaps into himself. He looks around, starts asking questions. Where is he? Who is she? It's like the real kid just surfaced. And Laura panics. She clamps a hand over his mouth to stop the screaming, her eyes darting back to the TV. On screen, the answer. They're drawing a circle on someone's forehead to calm them. So Laura mirrors it, starts rubbing Ollie's forehead in slow, deliberate circles. And just like that, the panic fades. His resistance dulls. The muteness returns. Meanwhile, Andy and Piper are pounding on the door. Laura opens it just long enough to snap at Andy and usher Piper inside. Andy stays behind, rattled and locked out of whatever's going on. Inside, Piper's confused but curious. Laura downplays everything. Ollie's fine, she says, while feeding him a lock of Andy and Piper's dead father's hair. Then she turns to Piper, subtly driving another wedge. She's worried about the cat. Andy let out again. Piper grabs her cane and goes out searching. As she walks the property, we get a clear look. Everything is encircled by that same thick, white painted line. That night, Andy finally forces himself into the shower, clothes and all. Water pounds down, but it's not cleansing anything. Then Oliver appears. Only, it's not Oliver anymore. Andy sees his father, pale and wet. He tells him that she'll die in the rain. Andy is so shocked and terrified, he slips, his head cracking against the tile. Cut to the hospital where the doctors are scrambling to stabilize him. But Andy's brain is now basically one long storm alert. All he hears is rain, and thanks to Ghost Dad's creepy weather forecast, he's convinced Piper is seconds from death by downpour. Meanwhile, back at Laura's house, Piper is alive, well, and heartbreak texting Andy. She's trying to reach him, saying she misses him and that Laura told her he doesn't want visitors. Laura, all smiles and holy energy, keeps working her magic on Piper, wrapping her in fake warmth and feeding her carefully curated concern. Across town, she drops in on Andy at the hospital, playing the caring guardian card. She tells him he's got one more day of observation and hands him his body spray. Andy, barely tethered to reality, doesn't register anything she's saying. All he cares about is Piper, the rain, and what he saw, or thinks he saw, in the shower, his dead father warning him that Piper's time is running out. Laura, unfazed, casually suggests that maybe Andy's just connecting rain with the moment she killed his dad. Andy spirals. He's broken, sobbing, grasping for what's real. And Laura? She gives him a twisted pinky swear that Piper will stay inside. Back at the house, Laura breaks her promise immediately and takes Piper outside into the pouring rain. They dance around as if nothing's wrong, but Laura is clearly lost in her own world, flashing back to memories of her daughter Kathy, playing near the pool. She's convinced everything is finally falling into place, and she's closer than ever to getting Kathy back. Later, she brings Piper to the locked shed and helps her into Kathy's old clothes, braiding her hair the same way Kathy used to like. Piper starts to feel uncomfortable, but Laura keeps going. She gently suggests that Piper can call her mom if she wants and pushes her to say yes to staying there with her for good. Then Laura opens a freezer and guides Piper's hand to something frozen inside. Piper asks what she's touching. Laura tells her it's just meat, but it isn't. It's Kathy's body. After the freezer reveal, Laura's plans hit a snag. Andy gets released from the hospital earlier than expected. She brings him back home, fuming. He's a threat to her ritual. From then on, Laura doubles down, subtly manipulating both siblings. At night, behind the locked bedroom door, Laura works with Ollie drawing circles on top of his head and muttering something. She's performing some kind of twisted spiritual conditioning. We learn that Ollie is a host controlled by a demonic force. His body is now a vessel for Kathy's lost soul, which Laura summoned through an amateur occult resurrection ritual, learned from a disturbing and graphic VHS tape. That's right, a full demonic tutorial in motion. According to the tape, to bring someone back from the dead, you need to follow these steps. The first step is to recover the body of the deceased person. After that, you must find two living hosts, aka Ollie and Piper. The first host, Ollie, is used as a means of storing the lost soul in a living vessel. Doing this puts the host into a trance-like state, which is suggested to be under the control of a demonic force. The ritual then requires a second person, Piper, to serve as the permanent host for the lost soul. The second host must die the same way as the deceased person. Then the first host consumes the flesh of the deceased person. Lastly, the first host vomits up the soul into the second host's mouth. Then the resurrection is achieved. And Laura, determined to bring Kathy back, is following the guide to the letter. Her ritual prep is nearly complete. All she needs now is timing, specifically rain. She plans to drown Piper in the pool, just like Kathy died. But Ollie is getting hungry and impatient. To speed things along, Laura stages a new low. She sprays herself with Andy's cologne, sneaks into Piper's room while she's asleep, and punches her in the face. Her plan is to frame Andy for it. By morning, she's in full performance mode, accusing Andy of being just like their father, violent and dangerous. She claims he must have hit Piper during one of his blackouts, and Piper, still reeling, says she thought she smelled him. Laura piles on more fuel, suggesting Andy's losing it, blaming him for the missing cat, and gaslighting him about his recent hallucinations. Andy, trying to prove something's wrong with Ollie, starts filming him, but Laura intercepts. In the scuffle, Andy punches the wall next to her and storms out in rage, fully done. Laura immediately flips the switch, returning to Piper, all warm concern and soothing lies, keeping her exactly where she wants her. With Andy gone, Laura finally has the house and the time she needs. She drops Piper off at goalball practice just so she can get back home and prep the poolside sacrificial setup. Meanwhile, Andy takes matters into his own hands and heads to the social services. There, he uncovers a bombshell. Oliver is actually a missing boy named Connor Bird. Turns out, Laura never legally fostered him. Back at the house, things get feral. Ollie's appetite reaches new levels of chaos. He is chewing through furniture, biting Laura, and even taking chunks out of himself. The house is a total mess. Back at the agency, Andy finally shakes some sense into Wendy. As soon as she hears that Laura refers to Connor as Oliver, her nephew's name, it's enough for the alarm bells to start ringing. She agrees to go straight to the house herself and see just how deep this madness goes. At the house, Laura stumbles through the wreckage, still bleeding from the fresh chunk Ollie took out of her hand. But no time for first aid. There's a resurrection schedule to keep. She resumes her warped connection with the boy, coaxing him back to her like a deranged demon whisper, smearing circles onto the glass with her own blood. Outside, the rain continues right on cue. She hauls him into the padlocked shed, where he makes a beeline for the freezer. Kathy's body awaits, and Ollie's clearly ready to dine. Meanwhile, Andy, now in Wendy's car, makes one last attempt to save his sister. He leaves her a voicemail, laying it all bare. Their father did hit him, only when she wasn't around. And yes, when he was 8, he hit her once too, and it's haunted him ever since. But that bruise on her face? That wasn't him. That was Laura. She's the monster in the house. Piper never hears Andy's message. Laura gets to it first. One quick listen and she knows Wendy and Andy are en route to ruin her big day. She scrubs the blood, clears the chaos, and shifts back into trustworthy caregiver mode, just in time for Wendy's visit. With a fake smile and a freshly bandaged hand, Laura gives Wendy the grand tour of her home. When he brings out a photo of the missing boy, Laura plays dumb. It's working until it isn't. Meanwhile, Andy breaks into the shed and finds the full nightmare: Kathy's corpse and Oliver mid-feast. He races to tell Wendy before it's too late. When he finally notices Laura's bandaged, still bleeding arm, when she presses, Laura snaps. She starts raving about resurrection and how everything is going to plan. She grabs Wendy in a full meltdown, screaming about bringing Kathy back. Wendy escapes and joins Andy, who shows her the freezer buffet in the shed. But before they can get out, Laura runs them over with her car. Wendy dies on impact, and a bloodied Andy is dragged into a puddle and drowned. Laura's ritual will happen, no matter the body count. Later, Laura collects Piper and brings her home. Having eaten some of Andy's flesh, Ollie now speaks with Andy's voice to lure Piper closer. She follows the voice and touches his shaven head, but then is stopped by Laura. Piper, finally listening to the alarm bells in her head, asks Laura what color Oliver's hair is. Laura confidently says red, thick, and curly. That's all Piper needs. She bolts, locks herself in the bathroom, where she finds Andy's lifeless body. Laura breaks in, says calmly that Andy had an accident, and casually explains the ritual to Piper and how she's planned to put Kathy inside of her, because she is just like her daughter, incredible and perfect. Piper, in disbelief, asks her what she is going to do to her. Laura, in the calmest tone possible, says she is going to drown her in the pool. Piper runs, but slams straight into a door and drops unconscious. Laura drags her inside the pool and starts drowning her. Oliver shows up from the shed, stuffed and ready to vomit Kathy's soul into Piper. But as Laura holds her down, Piper claws her face and screams "Mom." That word hits harder than expected. Laura falters and loosens her grip. Meanwhile, Ollie stands by, bloated, watching the chaos, seconds away from barfing up his soul. Piper makes a break for it, sprinting across the yard with Ollie chasing after her. He's determined to finish the job, but Piper fights him off with everything she's got. Just when she thinks she's made it, she slips and face plants. That's when Ollie finally vomits up Kathy's soupy remains onto the ground. Piper doesn't wait for the smoke to clear. She gets up, runs straight into the road, and is picked up by a stunned but helpful passing couple. Back in the yard, post-puke Ollie seems to be himself again. He spots a missing child flyer for Connor Bird, realizes that's him, and stumbles across the white circle. The second he crosses it, the demonic force evacuates his body like an exorcism on fast forward. Not pretty. He collapses, but he's free. The cops finally arrive and identify Connor. He's safe. Laura, now broken and fully off the rails, gently carries what's left of Kathy's corpse into the pool and cradles it like a twisted lullaby. The officers move in slowly. The end. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time,